All right, so let's look at sex chromosomes, the one that decides if you are going to be a boy or a girl. And it is just that 23rd chromosome, the 23rd homologous pair of chromosomes, that's going to decide whether you are a male or female. And it all depends on whether you get X's or Y's. So the X is a little bit bigger. It looks like an X, as you can see here. And the Y is smaller and doesn't really look like a Y, but I guess we call it the Y because it's an X is kind of, a Y is kind of like an X, but with kind of part missing. So if you were looking at a karyotype, you would just look at this 23rd pair to decide if it's a male or female. And that is an X chromosome, and that little thing is a Y. So XY means male. All right, so who decides whether you are going to be a baby girl or a baby boy? Was it your mom or your dad? So let's look at eggs. So your mom is a female, so your mom must be XX. So what can your mom give you when she divides her cells and makes new eggs? Well, she can either give you an X in one of her eggs, or she can give you an X. So all your mom can give you is an X. So everybody in the world has an X except for people with certain diseases. So we all have X's, boys and girls, because we all got an X from our moms because that's all she can give us. Let's look at dad. Boys are XY, so dad could either, when he's making his sperm and his DNA is splitting, one of the sperm might get an X, but they also might get a Y. So if dad gives an X, and mom has to give an X, then you're XX and you are a girl, okay? Mom, again, is giving an X. If dad gives a Y, then you are a boy. So who determined the sex of the baby? Dad, okay? And in history, we've seen like famous queens beheaded or divorced because they were not giving their king a male heir, right, a boy. And now we know that it's actually the man who determines the sex of the baby. So you can use this cool thing called a Punnett square to determine the likelihood of your baby being male or female or having blue or green or brown eyes. So you take the mom's genes, mom's always got XX, dad's genes, dad's always got XY, and you do a little cross. You say, okay, one possibility is that mom gives an X and dad gives an X, and we have an XX, and that is a girl. Another possibility is dad gives an X, mom gives an X. Okay, that's a girl. Another possibility is dad gives this Y, mom gives X. Okay, that's a boy. Or dad gives Y and mom gives X. So that is a boy. So you can see there's a 2 out of 4 chance of getting a boy and a 2 out of 4 chance of getting a girl. So the chances of getting a boy or a girl are 50-50. In the world, the population is actually 51% females. And we think that is because males are just a little bit more likely to have different genetic diseases. So they would be more likely to have problems and either die or not be born. All right, so we talked about genetic diseases like Down syndrome when you have an extra 21st chromosome. There are also diseases that have to do with the sex chromosome. So one of them is Turner syndrome, and that would be a female who, instead of being XX or a male XY, she's just X. She just got one X chromosome, and the symptoms of that disease would be failure to develop some secondary sex characteristics and maybe be infertile. Another genetic disease related to the sex chromosomes is Klinefelter syndrome, and that is when a male has XY, but he has this extra X chromosome. So the product would be the male could have like underdeveloped testes and be infertile. And that's all just because of that one extra chromosome there. All right, so see if you can look at this karyotype and figure out if it's a male or a female and what kind of genetic abnormality they have. You can pause it. So if you look, everything looks good till you get to chromosome 21. So this person has trisomy 21 or Down syndrome. And also, let's see, XX, that means they are female. So you can learn a lot from a karyotype. Okay, so why does this happen? Why do you sometimes have an extra chromosome or not enough chromosomes? It all happens during anaphase, my favorite phase of meiosis, when the splitting happens. So they were supposed to split in opposite directions, but maybe sometimes they stuck together and too many went over here to this new cell. So this person has like trisomy, they have too many, or this cell ended up with not enough. So this would be like a disease where the person is missing some chromosomes. And that all happened because they didn't split properly during anaphase, and since they didn't